Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Chase Pinsonneault of Carson, host of our racing, and getting ready for his ready for the Jegs CRA debut this weekend up in Berlin. So how's it going, Chase?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing good. So just kind of since this is your first time on here, kind of introduce yourself and talk about how you kind of got into racing.
So my name's Chase Pinsonneault. I'm a third generation racer. Started with my grandfather back in the 90s. Little info on me. So when I was, or for my fourth birthday, micro sprint. It's Canada's version of a quarter midget. Raced that for 7 years, and then we had the big deal with COVID where we were kind of locked in. Canada, we were more so locked in than I guess it was in the States. Didn't really know what we were going to do. That was kind of my time that I was going to start to make the transition over to the States, over to where racing's a really big deal. Unfortunately, with all the borders shut down, we couldn't, so we didn't really know what to do. A couple years later, we bought what's called a super stock. It's like a street stock. Raced that at Delaware Speedway in London and Flamborough Speedway for a year. Then we switched over to a pro late model in Canada. Did Delaware and the APC series. It's like the traveling series around back home where I'm at. And then this year we made the switch over to VRD and Carson hosts of our racing, and that's where I'm at now. So I'm starting to race with them now.
Okay, so how did you get paired up? How did you get to know Carson and all that stuff?
So initially, when we were looking to switch, transition over to the United States to really chase this goal big, we one of the guys on our crew, a good friend of my dad's, name's Kevin, worked with Carson. He worked with the VRD bunch and crewed for Carson. So we didn't really know what it was all going to look like, but we knew we had connections to VRD, the Van Dorn Racing Development Group. So we went testing there at Berlin and Owasso to see if I was, I guess, eligible to race over there, see how it was, make sure the fit was good. So we raced a little bit over there. And then the opportunity came up with Carson going to Cup and all of that, that there was really no one to fill his place in the late model world because of how busy he'd be running around in Cup. So we got to meet him. We got to meet Zach, his old crew chief, now my crew chief, and kind of got this whole deal sorted out where I'm kind of filling Carson's spot. Where he left, I'm kind of filling in, and he's kind of coaching me up the ladder.
Yeah. What's it like to work with someone that has taken someone that has took this path like you did?
It's really cool. I mean, talking to somebody like Carson is a really cool guy to pick his brain. Obviously, he's seen a lot of stuff. He's been around for a really long time, so it's good to pull from someone with experience. Great guy to talk to. Just super cool to be around in general. His crew chief's a great guy too, Zach. Super cool guy to learn from. Tons of racing experience, and it's a really cool group to work with.
Yeah. So now you're going to experience a lot of these places for the very first time, but a lot of time spent in the Midwest around Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan as well. You're going to the west side of the state to take on Berlin, and obviously, as you know, it's Carson's home track. To open up the season, what about that place what have you kind of learned about that place and ready to kick off the year?
Well, a good way to open that conversation is it's hard. It's a tough racetrack, super weird to get around. A lot of things that you wouldn't really find at regular racetracks. Very circular, no wall on the backstretch. So to try to find marks is a little bit more complicated than your typical oval. It's hard. The winter made the bumps a lot worse, so it's even more difficult to get the setup right. But it's really cool racing. You can go side by side from the weekly that had just came a few days ago. So it's a really cool place. I've learned a lot already, but there's still tons to learn.
So how is the season going for you so far?
Really good so far. So we kicked off more in the south. Our most recent there would have been Five Flags for the Alan Turner opener. I think we finished eighth there, just inside the top 10. Ran really good there. Transitioned over to the Berlin opener. Top of the charts a lot in practice, like P2, P3. Some always in between P2 and P5. So had a really good fast car. Ran third for a significant portion of that weekly race. Had like 24 cars, and a race restart really shuffled me back. We ended up sixth, but we've been really good at the start of the season.
Yeah. Okay, so opening up the season, it's going to be a pretty competitive field as it's known out there. What's it going to be like going up against all these CRA guys and trying to go for a championship?
Well, they're really good and they got the experience on me. I'm not sure how any of them race. So as a rookie coming in, it's definitely daunting. It's going to be quite the challenge. I got lots of cars. I believe there's almost 30, if not already 30 registered for the race. So super big field, but I think I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to trying to give these guys a run for their money. I know they're really good, but I'm going to try my best.
Okay, Chase, time to get to know you a little bit. How about that?
Awesome.
All right. What's favorite track that you ran at?
I've got to say Five Flags. I went down to run there. We tested first, and then we went back for the Alan Turner Series race, and it's just an awesome track. You carry tons of speed in the turn one, and I mean it's tough, but when you figure it out, when you set up right, and when me as a driver can get in the right state of mind, it's a cool place, a fast place, and the history's awesome.
Track you're most looking forward to run at?
I'd say probably Anderson coming up in a couple weeks here. My grandfather talks about Anderson. He said it's a weird place. It's you either love it or you hate it, and I'm looking forward. I've seen it. Never been to it, but it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be an experience. Grandpa used to run it, so it's gonna be cool to be there. Cool to talk to him about it.
Yeah. Um, you know, let's see. What's your go-to place for food?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So it used to be I'm a huge fan of the Big Mac, used to be, but transitioning over now, I'm trying to get into a little bit of better of a health. So we got a place down here called Freshie, and I'll just get smoothies now, just try to keep myself in a little bit better shape for the race season.
Yeah. Let's see. Favorite movie?
Oh man, that's a good one. Favorite movie? I gotta go with Talladega Nights. A huge fan of it. I love the I'm on Fire scene. It's classic, probably my favorite movie.
Okay. And then what is something people do not know about you, Chase?
People in the States probably won't know that I'm a hockey player. Been playing for 4 or 5 years now. Just play for selects in my area. Nothing crazy, about the lowest level of travel, but I enjoy hockey in the free time.
Okay. All right. All right, Chase. Thanks so much for the time as always, and best of luck this weekend in Berlin. We'll check in with you throughout the year.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.